Maya Chen sat in the back corner of the combat strategy classroom, her fingers dancing silently across her tablet as she absorbed every word Professor Korak spoke. The massive Thorian instructor's four arms gestured dramatically as he explained the Battle of Zerion Prime, but Maya's classmates seemed more interested in their personal communicators than the lesson. She was used to being invisible. At the Galactic Military Academy on Station Omega-7, Maya was just another human cadet among thousands of species from across the galaxy. While her classmates, tall Altarians with their crystalline skin, massive Krugan warriors, and swift Zephyrian flyers, commanded attention wherever they went, Maya blended into the background like shadows at sunset. "The key to victory," Professor Korax rumbled, his deep voice carrying across the amphitheater, "is understanding your enemy's weaknesses better than they understand your strengths." His yellow eyes scanned the room before settling on Maya for just a moment. She didn't look up from her notes. Maya had learned this lesson long before coming to the academy. Growing up on Earth's agricultural colony of New Haven, she'd spent her childhood studying while other kids played. Her parents, both former Earth Defense Force officers, had taught her that preparation was survival. Every night, she'd read military histories and tactical manuals while her younger brother played virtual reality games. The Galactic Council had been skeptical when Earth applied for membership 15 years ago. Humans were newcomers to the galactic community, their technology primitive compared to civilizations that had traveled between stars for millennia. Most species saw humans as curious, but unremarkable, decent at many things, masters of none. Maya embodied this perception perfectly. Her test scores were good but not exceptional. Her physical abilities met academy standards without exceeding them. During combat simulations, she performed competently while others dazzled instructors with natural talents. The instructors barely knew her name after 2 years of study. What they didn't know was that Maya studied everything, not just her assigned coursework, but the behavioral patterns of every species she encountered. She memorized the reaction times of Altarian nervous systems, the blind spots in Krugan peripheral vision, the frequency limitations of Zephyrian echolocation, while her classmates focused on mastering their own species' natural advantages. Maya was building a mental database of everyone else's strengths and weaknesses. Her roommate, Zara Key of the Vex Collective, often found Maya reading late into the night. The insectoid being's compound eyes would flicker with amusement as she watched Maya pore over tactical manuals and historical battle records. "You study too much, human Maya," Zara Key would click in her translated speech. "Your species' short lifespan makes leisure time precious. Why waste it on knowledge you will never use?" Maya would smile politely and return to her reading. She couldn't explain that studying wasn't work for her. It was meditation. Every piece of information was another tool in an arsenal she hoped never to need, but knew she must build. The Academy's fourth-year students faced a final trial known as the Crucible, a live combat exercise against real threats to test their readiness for active duty. Most cadets looked forward to it as a chance to prove themselves. Maya dreaded it, not from fear, but because she knew it would force her from the shadows she'd grown comfortable hiding in. 3 days before the Crucible, Professor Korax announced the trial's format. Each cadet would face a different scenario based on their species' typical military roles. Altarians would lead defensive operations, Krugans would spearhead assault missions, and humans would participate in reconnaissance and support roles. "The trials will be broadcast live to your homeworlds," Professor Korax explained, his 4 arms crossed behind his back. "Your families, your governments, and your people will witness your performance. Success brings honor to your species. Failure—" He didn't need to finish the sentence. Maya felt her stomach twist. Live broadcast meant millions of humans across the galaxy would watch her stumble through what was likely designed to be a routine support mission. The Galactic Council would see confirmation that humans were useful but unremarkable members of the galactic community. That evening, she sat in the Academy's observation deck, watching ships arrive and depart from the station's massive docking bays. Earth's transport ships looked small and simple compared to the elegant Altarian vessels or the imposing Krugan warships. Everything about humanity seemed diminished in the vastness of galactic civilization. Her personal communicator buzzed with a message from her parents. They were excited about watching her trial, proud that their daughter would represent humanity on such a visible stage. Maya's brother had recorded a good luck message, boasting to his friends that his sister was going to show the galaxy what humans could do. The weight of their expectations settled on her shoulders like lead armor. She wasn't a hero from the stories her father used to tell her about humanity's first contact with alien civilizations. She was just Maya Chen from New Haven, a quiet girl who studied too much and blended into crowds. But as she watched a patrol of Academy ships return from their exercises, something shifted in her thinking. Every species in the galaxy had advantages: speed, strength, advanced technology, natural weapons. Humanity's advantage was different. They adapted, they learned, they survived by understanding rather than overpowering. Maya returned to her room and opened her personal files. Inside were detailed behavioral analyses of 47 different alien species, tactical assessments of their military doctrines, and psychological profiles based on 2 years of careful observation. She hadn't realized she'd been preparing for the Crucible all along. For the first time since arriving at the Academy, Maya Chen allowed herself to hope that being human might be enough. The morning of the Crucible arrived with the artificial dawn of Station Omega-7's lighting systems. Maya stood in the briefing room alongside 19 other final-year cadets, each representing their species' finest military potential. The nervous energy in the room was thick enough to taste. Commander Thex 9, a cybernetic nexus being, materialized as a hologram before them. His mechanical voice carried no emotion as he explained the situation. Unknown hostile forces have established a beachhead on the mining planet Kepler 442b. Intelligence suggests they are using advanced cloaking technology and adaptive weapons systems. Your mission is to eliminate the threat and secure the mining facilities. Maya's assignment appeared on her tablet. Reconnaissance and communications support for Strike Team Alpha. She would monitor enemy movements, coordinate between team members, and provide tactical analysis from a mobile command unit safely behind the front lines. As expected, she thought. The quiet human gets the quiet job. The other cadets received more dramatic assignments. Vex Tar, a massive Krugan, would lead the primary assault. His 4-meter frame and natural armor made him nearly indestructible in direct combat. Silene, an Altarian crystalline being, would coordinate defensive positions with her species' ability to interface directly with electronic systems. The others had roles that showcased their species' natural talents. As they prepared for deployment, Maya noticed something the briefing hadn't mentioned. The enemy weapons described in their intelligence reports matched no known technology in the galactic database. The energy signatures were unlike anything recorded in previous conflicts. Most concerning, the adaptive nature of the weapons suggested an intelligence behind the attacks, not simple raiders or pirates, but something organized and sophisticated. She kept this observation to herself as they boarded the transport ship. On the journey to Kepler 442b, her fellow cadets reviewed their assigned roles and checked their equipment. Maya did something different. She pulled up every available piece of data about the mining planet, its geography, weather patterns, mineral composition, even the layout of the mining facilities. The transport shuddered as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Through the viewports, Maya saw Kepler 442b stretching below them. A harsh world of red rock canyons and metallic ore deposits. The mining facilities dotted the landscape like mechanical scars, their massive excavation equipment silent and abandoned. Initial scans show no immediate hostile presence, reported Zix, their Vorthon pilot. His six-eyed head swiveled to track multiple sensor readings simultaneously. But the interference is significant. We're getting ghost readings across all frequencies. Maya activated her communication equipment and immediately understood the problem. The enemy wasn't just using cloaking technology. They were generating sophisticated electronic warfare signals that created false targets while masking real ones. Most species would rely on their advanced sensors to cut through the deception, but Maya recognized the pattern from her studies of ancient Earth military tactics. The transport set down at Landing Zone Alpha, a cleared area 2 kilometers from the main mining complex. As the teams deployed, Maya established her mobile command post and began coordinating communications. Her role was to stay safe while others took risks, exactly what everyone expected from the human cadet. For 30 minutes, everything went according to plan. Strike Team Alpha advanced toward the mining complex, encountering no resistance. Defensive positions were established without incident. Maya tracked their progress on her displays, relaying status updates to the Academy supervisors who were monitoring the exercise. Then the attack began. The first indication was Vextar's roar of surprise echoing across the communication channel. "Contact! Multiple hostiles, unknown configuration. They're everywhere." Maya's screens lit up with alerts as the enemy revealed themselves. But something was wrong with what she was seeing. The tactical display showed enemy positions that didn't match the field reports from her teammates. According to her sensors, there were 12 hostiles surrounding Strike Team Alpha. According to Vextar's panicked reports, there were at least 30. While her teammates called for backup and tried to establish defensive positions, Maya did what came naturally to her. She studied the problem. She pulled up the sensor data from the past hour, looking for patterns in the electronic interference. What she found changed everything. The enemy wasn't using advanced technology at all. They were using human technology, specifically electronic warfare techniques developed by Earth's military during their early space conflicts. But they were using it in ways that perfectly exploited the sensor dependencies of advanced galactic species. Maya realized that while her teammates were fighting the enemy they could see, they were missing the enemy that was actually there. The real hostiles were using the false readings to position themselves for an ambush that would eliminate Strike Team Alpha within minutes. She faced a choice. She could follow her assigned role, stay in her safe position, and watch her teammates fall into a trap while the galaxy watched. Or she could leave her post, abandon her assignment, and try to save them using tactics no one expected from the quiet human cadet. On her communication display, she watched viewership numbers from the live broadcast. Millions of beings across the galaxy were tuning in to watch the Academy trials. Earth's feed showed over 200 million viewers, her parents, her brother, classmates from New Haven, and humans throughout the colonies. They expected to see competent but unremarkable performance from their representative. Maya Chen took a deep breath, gathered her weapons, and stepped out of her mobile command post. "All teams, this is command support," she transmitted, using her official designation for the first time. "Enemy positions are not what they appear. I'm moving to your location with corrected tactical data. Maintain current positions and wait for my signal." Vextar's voice crackled with confusion. "Support, return to your post. We can handle this engagement." "Negative," Maya replied, already running toward the combat zone. "You're about to be flanked by forces you can't see. Follow my lead or we're all dead in 3 minutes." For the first time since arriving at the Academy, Maya Chen stopped hiding in the background. As she ran toward the battle, her mind was already working through the tactics she'd studied in her father's old military manuals. Strategies that the galaxy had never seen because humanity had never needed to reveal them. The galaxy was watching, and Maya was done being invisible. Maya reached the combat zone just as the enemy's true attack began. While her teammates fired at holographic projections and sensor ghosts, 12 real hostiles materialized from concealed positions in the canyon walls above them. Their weapons powered up with an ominous hum that Maya recognized from her studies. Plasma rifles configured to penetrate the specific armor types worn by galactic species. "Everyone down now," Maya commanded, her voice carrying an authority that surprised even her. Vex Tar, trained to follow the chain of command despite his warrior instincts, dropped behind a boulder just as superheated plasma scorched the air where his head had been. Silene's crystalline form sparked as she interfaced with her defensive systems, but Maya was already moving past them. What happened next would be replayed millions of times across galactic networks for years to come. Instead of taking cover or calling for backup, Maya ran directly into the enemy's field of fire. Her small human frame moved in ways that confused the hostiles' targeting systems. Not the swift flight of a Zephyrian or the armored charge of a Krugan, but something unpredictable that their software couldn't calculate. She rolled beneath a plasma burst, came up firing, and eliminated the first hostile with 3 precise shots to critical systems. Before his companions could adjust, she was already moving again, using the terrain in ways that seemed impossible. "Command support! What are your orders?" Vex Tar called, his voice tight with disbelief. Maya's response came between weapon discharges. "Stop thinking like your species. Think like humans." She demonstrated what she meant. Instead of relying on superior technology or natural abilities, Maya used deception and misdirection. She threw rocks to create false audio signatures while moving in a different direction. She used the mining equipment as improvised weapons, turning industrial tools into tactical advantages. Most importantly, she anticipated enemy reactions based not on their technology, but on their psychology. "Silene, patch into the mining facility's communication array," Maya ordered while suppressing enemy fire. "Broadcast false retreat orders on their encrypted channels." "But I cannot decode their encryption," the Altarian replied. "You don't need to decode it. Just override it with noise that sounds like retreat commands. They'll assume their communications are compromised and fall back to secondary positions." The tactic worked perfectly. 3 enemy combatants immediately repositioned to fallback points that Maya had identified from studying the facility's defensive architecture. As they moved, they exposed themselves to Vex Tar's devastating firepower. But the real genius of Maya's strategy became apparent as the battle continued. She wasn't just fighting the enemy, she was teaching her teammates to fight like humans. "Zek-9, stop using your natural phase abilities," she called to their ethereal teammate. "They're tracking your quantum signature. Move normally and use their expectations against them." "Lena, override your combat programming," she told their synthetic squad member. "Fight inefficiently. Make mistakes on purpose. They're predicting your optimal responses." One by one, Maya guided her teammates away from their species' natural advantages and into human-style tactics, unpredictability, adaptation, and psychological warfare. What should have been a slaughter became a systematic dismantling of the enemy force. On worlds across the galaxy, viewers watched in growing amazement as the quiet human cadet orchestrated a victory that seemed impossible. Military analysts struggled to understand what they were seeing. The human wasn't stronger, faster, or better equipped than her enemies. She was just thinking differently. The breakthrough came when Maya realized the true nature of their opponents. The hostiles weren't using human technology by coincidence. They were humans. Rogue colonists who had disappeared 5 years earlier, presumed dead in a transport accident. They had been captured, equipped with stolen galactic weapons, and programmed to test Academy cadets using tactics specifically designed to exploit each species' weaknesses. This revelation changed everything. Maya wasn't fighting advanced aliens using mysterious technology. She was fighting her own people who had been turned into weapons against their will. All teams, switch to non-lethal suppression, Maya ordered. These aren't hostiles. They're prisoners. Vextar's confusion was evident in his voice. Command support. How can you be certain? Maya's answer came as she executed a perfect flanking maneuver that left the final 3 enemies surrounded with no escape routes. Because they're fighting like humans who've been forced to forget they're human. Watch their patterns. They're trying to lose while appearing to fight at full strength. She was right. Once her teammates looked for the signs, they could see the subtle hesitations, the slightly imperfect aim, the tactical choices that created opportunities for Academy forces to succeed. The captured humans were fighting against their programming, trying to help their rescuers while appearing to resist. The final engagement lasted only minutes. Using electromagnetic pulse grenades borrowed from the mining facility's equipment stores, Maya and her team disabled the control devices that had been implanted in the captives. As the hostile programming deactivated, 12 confused and traumatized humans collapsed in the red dust of Kepler 442b. In the aftermath, as medical teams treated the rescued colonists and Academy supervisors tried to understand what they had witnessed, Maya found herself at the center of galactic attention for the first time in her life. The quiet cadet who had blended into backgrounds was now the subject of urgent discussions in the Galactic Council chambers. Commander Thex-9's mechanical voice carried a note of something that might have been respect as he debriefed the team. Cadet Chen, your performance today has been illuminating. The tactics you employed are not part of any Academy curriculum. No, sir, Maya replied. They're human tactics. We've never needed to show them before because we've never faced opponents who understood our weaknesses well enough to exploit them. The implications of her words settled over the group like a heavy blanket. Every species in the galaxy had assumed humans were simply adequate generalists, useful for support roles, but unremarkable in combat. What Maya had demonstrated was that human tactics were so foreign to galactic thinking that they represented an entirely new form of warfare. As news of the trial spread across human colonies, Maya received thousands of messages from her people. Her parents sent a recording of their entire settlement watching the battle, cheering as their quiet daughter rewrote galactic assumptions about humanity. Her brother, typically dramatic, declared that she had made humans the most feared species in the galaxy. Maya doubted that last part, but she understood that something fundamental had changed. The Galactic Council could no longer dismiss humanity as harmless newcomers. The quiet cadet had shown that humans possessed capabilities that even advanced civilizations couldn't predict or counter. 3 days later, Maya graduated from the Academy with honors and received her first assignment, developing new tactical training programs for multi-species military units. Her job would be teaching alien soldiers to think like humans, to embrace unpredictability as a weapon, and to fight with their minds rather than their natural advantages. As she packed her belongings for the journey to her new post, Maya reflected on how much had changed since that morning when she dreaded being watched by the galaxy. She was still the same person who preferred studying to socializing, who found comfort in preparation and knowledge. But now the galaxy knew that quiet humans could be the most dangerous opponents of all. The girl who had hidden in shadows was ready to step into the light, carrying with her the tactical heritage of a species that had learned to survive by thinking differently. Maya Chen was no longer invisible, and humanity would never be underestimated again.